Imagine it's 3 a.m. The server breaks and you need to find out what happened. You have a log file with all the information previous to the crash and you try opening it. And you realize the file you're trying to open is really big, and maybe a gigabyte is not too big for today's standards, but when you try to open it in the notepad or in VS Code or someplace like this to analyze it, the following happens. We can see the CPU skyrockets. It's trying to open this huge file and it's consuming a lot of the CPU and a lot of memory as well. So this is the problem we're trying to solve. I'm gonna present myself now. My name is Joseph. I'm a second-year student in computer science, and I'm gonna be trying to fix this problem. The goal is to build a tool that can open 100 gigabytes or around there of a file using less resources. As we saw before, the resources skyrocket. It's just 1 gigabyte, but as we can see, it went up pretty high, even though it's just 1 gigabyte and you're using it for maybe a couple seconds. But then to open this file, it's a pretty expensive way to do it from the computer's point of view. So the technique we're gonna use is memory mapping. This is something I learned during the class I will previously mention. So instead of copying the file into RAM, we're gonna open a small window, as I say here, to the file, to the hard drive, essentially using the virtual memory and mapping. So what we're gonna do is something that computers already do when you don't have enough memory. Say your computer has 20 gigabytes or 16 gigabytes of RAM and you want to open a 20 gigabyte file. Well, you have your disk, which could be used as an extension of your RAM called virtual memory, which then gets topics like swapping and things like that we're gonna be mentioning during this project because we're gonna use them. If none of this makes sense right now, it's okay. I'm gonna go more into it on the next videos. This is just an introduction to the concept, to the problem, and what we're trying to do here. But essentially, we will load only lines like really small parts of the actual file. Why? So we don't use as many resources. So for example, we only load lines currently visible on the screen. Example, lines 1 to 50. And then the swap, when we're done with those lines, we can load the next lines, so 51 to 100, and then we dump these lines because we don't need them anymore. And if we need them, then we just map them back and we send them back to RAM. Okay, so that's more or less what we're trying to do. Some of the features I want to achieve with this project are the following. First, visualize. Open any file size instantly without freezing the OS. So what we saw now, or if I try to open the same file on the notepad I tried before and it just crashes, it can't open it because those type of things or VS Code are meant to be tools to write code, not to analyze stuff like that, right? So that's the problem. Then we want to filter. We want a high-speed tool that can find specific errors, codes, or IPs. Why? Because this is supposed to be a tool more in the cybersecurity stuff. Like, it's of course going to be controlled, and I'm going to try to make it as useful as possible. But as we see here, we want automatic syntax highlighting for errors, warnings, IP addresses, codes, whatever. So it's a cybersecurity focus also in this project because it's something that interests me. As previously mentioned, technical stack is language Rust, which I'm learning right now. So as you can see here, I'm almost done with chapter 4. It's a language that is very close to C. It's kind of hard at the beginning. The learning curve is pretty high, but it's going through. I understand more or less. I've been practicing with some stuff here from my own understanding, just to understand how everything works and some of the examples in the book. And we're gonna also try to achieve a UI with this resource story to just visualize in a better way than just open a file of text. So this is the end of the video. I just wanted to say that this will be a series of building this project on YouTube. I'm gonna make shorts about it. I'm gonna make a really long video probably when I'm done with this, with all the parts, because as I said, it's gonna be a series. It's gonna take me, I don't know, a couple of weeks maybe, maybe more, maybe less, I don't know. Another important detail before you go is that this project is thought to be open source. And then I'm gonna try, maybe, because this is actually a problem, not a very common problem or a very lucrative problem, but I want to try to sell this thing. And that's gonna be one of the challenges as well. So stick through that. Maybe you can sell this project, maybe not, but it's gonna be open source. And as soon as I have something in the project, because right now, as I said, I'm learning Rust, so I haven't started. It's gonna be up there, and I'll put it on the description on the next video probably. So thank you very much for watching. Ciao, ciao.